Hello friends, welcome or welcome back. If you are new here, my name is Whitley and welcome to another round of LucidiTBR. This is my monthly TBR game where I play as a dreamer, fighting nightmares while also trying not to become one. If this is your first time seeing my TBR game, I will link January's video that is going to go more in depth of all of the rules, what each symbol, space, and nightmare means, and the consequences for filling each of the tracks. But in essence, I'm going to roll some dice. Each die is going to be a dream that I'm going to add to my dreamer board, and therefore another book to my TBR. Each different colored die corresponds to a different nightmare, and every nightmare has been assigned a different genre. And each symbol on the die correspond to the different symbols on the board. Each of the different symbols have been designated a different reading prompt. I'll go over what each of the symbols mean as we land on them, but I will go ahead and tell you what the nightmares are and what genres they've been assigned. So for the Nightmare of Temptation, that is a green, that is going to be a romance. For the Nightmare of the Depths, that is a blue die, that is going to be a fantasy. The Nightmare of Primeval Fear, that is a red, that is going to be a horror. And lastly, we have the Nightmare of Imprisonment. That is going to be a yellow. That is any other genre other than fantasy, romance, and horror, which are my main big three. If I don't remove enough dice at the end of the month by not reading the books on my TBR, or if I've just had some unlucky rolls, I could fill one of these tracks. And each track comes with a different consequence for my reading when it gets filled up. It's pretty simple once we get into it. If you've been here before or just want to learn as you go, let's get into it. The first thing we have to do is see how I did last month to see what the board's going to look like going into this month. Roll 1 was a red power. For that, I chose The Caretaker by Marcus Cleaver. I unfortunately did not get around to that one, so that die is staying where it is. Roll 2 was a red shadow. For that, I chose The Ruins by Scott Smith, which I did read, so we will remove that from the board. Roll 3 was a green shadow. For that, I chose Happy Place by Emily Henry, which I read as well, so we will remove that. Roll 4 was a red hunt. For that, I chose Ghost Eaters by Clay McLeod Chapman, and I read that one as well, so we can remove that from the board. Roll 5 was a green exhaust. For that, I chose The Night We Met by Abby Jimenez. I unfortunately did not get around to that one either, so that one is staying where it is. And lastly, roll 6 was another red shadow. For that, I chose The Deep by Nick Cutter, which I read as well, so we can remove that one. Okay, not a great start, but not a horrible start. We do have 2 dice that I'm going to have to carry over into this month, which is going to make consequences just a little bit more likely. But hey, we could get some lucky rolls. So let's get into this month's. As a little reminder, I'm going to draw out 3 dice. I'm going to choose one to keep. I'm going to roll it, resolve it, choose a book that matches it, and add it to my TBR. I'm going to be choosing 6 dice for 6 prompts for 6 books, as always. After reading nothing but horror and romance last month, I'm really itching for some fantasy. I am such in a fantasy mood right now, so I'm definitely leaning fantasy, maybe some fantasy romance, but again, it's summer, so your girl always wants some horror and romance. We'll see what the dice have in store, but that's my mood going into this month. So without further ado, let's get into the rolls. Draw 1. Let's see. We have a green, and a blue. Let's go with a blue. Roll 1 is a blue. And that is a shadow. Roll 1 was a blue shadow. Blue is a fantasy and a shadow is a backlist. A backlist for me is anything that's been on my TBR for over a year, and I have the perfect book because this duology has been on my TBR for so damn long, and I finally got around to the first book earlier in the year, but I have not finished it. So we're doing Crooked Kingdom by Leigh Bardugo. This is an absolutely iconic duology, such a beloved duology, and I absolutely see why. This is a YA fantasy kind of romance heist story about 6 outcasts that come together to embark on this impossible heist. 6 of Crows was absolutely incredible, blew me away, and I cannot believe that it has taken me months to get around to finishing this, but it is happening in August. Absolutely. I'm so excited. I cannot wait to see where this story is going to go. Book 1 kind of ended off on a bit of a cliffhanger, and I've been absolutely itching to get my hands on this conclusion. I fell in love with absolutely every single one of these 6 characters, and we didn't really get a lot of information on a couple of them, so I'm really excited to hopefully get some more information on a couple of the characters that we didn't dive as deep into, and of course get back to this incredible found family. Cannot wait. Draw 2. We have a green, and a yellow. Let's go with a yellow. Roll 2 is a yellow. And that is a power. Roll 2 was a yellow power. Yellow is any other genre other than fantasy, romance, and horror. And a power is basically anything that I am hyped for, anything that has received hype or something that I'm just really excited to pick up. And I'm not sure that I could choose a book any more hyped than Dungeon Crawler Carl. I have finished 1 and 2, so I am on the Dungeon Anarchist Cookbook, I believe is the title for the 3rd one. That is the one that I'm going to be starting this month, and I cannot wait. I've absolutely fallen head over heels with this entire world, these characters. And if you somehow don't know what this series is about, it is about this man and his cat who are going through the end of the world together. They have ended up in this dungeon with video game style mechanics, and they are fighting their way through monsters and trying to get to the end to earn their freedom, all while being televised on the universe's most popular reality show. This series has been so incredibly fun, but it also has so much heart and depth. I've been having an incredible time buddy reading them with my husband, so cannot wait to get to the next one. So absolutely adding that to the August TBR. Draw 3. We have a little bit of everything. A blue, a red, and a yellow. Let's go for a red. Draw 3 was a red. And that is an exhaust. Roll 3 was a red exhaust. Red, of course, is a horror, and exhaust means we get to spin the prompt spinner wheel. I have a bunch of random reading prompts on a wheel here. I'm gonna shuffle them up a couple of times and we're gonna spin, and the goal is to try to find a book that is in the horror category but also matches the prompt. So let's see what we got. What is it? Has an adaptation. Okay. Ooh, I think we can do that. I unfortunately don't think any of my physical TBR horrors have an adaptation. We might have to go to Goodreads for this one. Okay, so after some searching, I feel like my only real options are one of the Hill boys. We could do a Stephen King, or I could go to Joe Hill. I try not to do graphic novels in my TBRs because I feel like they're so easy to complete, but with me having to carry over 2 books already, I'm going to give myself this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose the next Lock and Key graphic novel. I'm on bind up 4, which is called Keys to the Kingdom. This is such a fun horror fantasy graphic novel series. It is by Joe Hill. It is about this family that loses their father and they move back to his old house where he grew up, and there are a bunch of magical keys and some ghosts and some evil powers that they need to try to overcome that they may accidentally befriend. It's so good. So I'm going to go with Lock and Key, Keys to the Kingdom for this prompt because it does have a television adaptation, which I have not gotten around to. I really want to finish the entire graphic novel series before I watch the TV show, but the TV show looks incredible. Draw 4. We have a blue, and a red. Let's do another blue. Draw 4 was another blue. Oh no! And an exhaust, which means we have filled a track. I am so glad I gave myself that graphic novel because we have filled a track. Roll 4 was a blue exhaust. Blue is a fantasy, and the exhaust means we get to bring up our spinner wheel once again. Okay, let's see what we're gonna get for our fantasy pick. Give me something nice, please. A 5-star prediction. Amazing. Love it. The wheel really said, you need a break, and we're gonna give it to you. Let's see. Okay, so immediately my eye is drawn to Fourth Wing. I've been trying to kind of hold off on that until the series is finished because I'm absolutely a series binger, but it is a 5-star prediction. There's also The Serpent in the Wings of Night that I've heard such good things about, and I love me some vampires. I also recently got A Caper of Night by Kylie Lee Baker. This, I've only read her horror stuff, but this is one of her earlier works. This is I think, YA fantasy. And I love Kylie Lee Baker's writing, so that is a big option. Or do I pick Alchemized? It's so big, guys. And I already have so many books this month, but like if I were to tell you a book on my physical TBR that I think has the highest probability of being a 5-star, it's Alchemized. Do I do it? I think I have to. The Wheel gave me a 5-star prediction, and I told it to be nice to me. And I'm choosing to not be nice to myself, but also being nice to myself because I cannot express to you how much I have been wanting to read this ever since it came out. I read the original fan fiction that this was based on. This started out as a Hermione, Draco, Harry Potter fan fiction called Manacled. I read that, ate it up, absolutely obsessed. I love Sin Lin Yu's writing. They are a treasure, so I know that I'm going to absolutely eat this up, even though we're not getting the familiarity of the characters that I already know and love with Hermione and Draco. I feel like their original characters are going to be just as good. I can't believe I'm telling you. I can't believe I'm putting a 1,000 page book on my TBR when I already have more than usual the books on my monthly TBR, but I can't pass it up. When the wheel tells you to pick a 5-star prediction, you pick a 5-star prediction. And this is at the very tippy top of my 5-star predictions on my shelves. So this chunker is going on the August TBR. Oh no, I just remembered that we filled a track, which means so when I fill the exhaust track instead of my reading prompt wheel, I also have a nightmare prompt wheel, which are going to aim towards books that are intimidating, maybe books that I wouldn't normally gravitate towards, but books I still want to read, prompts that I can still make work for an enjoyable read. And I just remembered that we also have to spin that wheel. And I believe that there is a prompt on here that is a book like over 500 pages, a book that is intimidating, which absolutely would have filled that box. Alchemized would have filled that box as well, so I'm just really hoping that I don't get that prompt. Okay. The Nightmare Wheel. Let's give it some shuffles. I swear, if I get the big book, end it now. I'm out. Okay. Okay, let's see. Please be nice to me. Okay. We can do this. Lowest rated on my TBR. Let me go see what that is. Okay, I have Goodreads up. Let's see. We're gonna go to want to read, and we're going to sort by average rating. Please don't be something weird. Okay, average rating and lowest. Okay. Not what I was expecting. I don't know what I was expecting, honestly. I thought maybe it would be Catherine House because I know that is a really low-rated book on Goodreads, but we have a few that beat it. So it looks like we are adding Everything the Darkness Eats by Eric LaRocca. I can't remember if this is one of his short story collections or if this is like just one of his novellas, but it is 226 pages, so not terrible. We could have done worse. And Eric LaRocca, he is definitely a hit or miss author, but he's always so weird and he always evokes feeling, whether that be intrigue, disgust, he always makes me feel something. So I gotta give him that. Okay, it looks like this might be one of his full novellas. It says, an insidious darkness threatens to devastate a rural New England village when occult forces are conjured and when bigotry is left unrestrained. After a recent string of disappearances in a small Connecticut town, a grieving widower with a grim secret is drawn into a dangerous ritual of dark magic by a powerful and mysterious older gentleman named Hart Crowley. Meanwhile, a member of local law enforcement tasked with uncovering the culprit responsible for the bizarre disappearances soon begins to learn of a current of unbridled hatred simmering beneath the guise of the town's idyllic community, a hatred that will eventually burst and forever change the lives of those who once found peace in the quiet town of Henley's Edge. It says it is a haunting supernatural thriller. I'm so down for that. Let's go. Eric LaRocca is definitely not for everybody, so I can see why this would be pretty low rated. I feel like a lot of his stuff, even the ones that I've really enjoyed, haven't gotten the best ratings just because he is one of those people that you either love him or hate him. So I'm intrigued to see what I'm going to think of that one. Crisis averted. That could have went a lot worse. Draw 5. We have, all blues. I love that when it happens. I don't have to make a choice. We're picking blue. You roll 5. Another blue. And another shadow. Roll 5 was another blue shadow, which is another backlist fantasy. I have so many options for a backlist fantasy on my shelf. I could have chosen so many, but I went with one that has been on my shelf for 6 years. We are going with These Violent Delights by Chloe Gong. I was immediately intrigued by this when I read the premise on Book of the Month 6 years ago. This is Chloe Gong's debut novel. I know that it is a Romeo and Juliet inspired story. It takes place in 1926 in Shanghai. There is 2 rival gangs. We have gangsters, we have criminals, and we have star-crossed lovers. I'm so excited. And this cover is absolutely stunning. I'm not sure if it's actually a duology or if this is a standalone and there's just like a spin-off. So I'm definitely interested to see if Chloe Gong's writing is going to be for me and if I'm going to have to add another book to my TBR. And last draw, draw 6. We have a blue, a green, and a red. We don't have a green yet, so let's do a green. And lastly, draw 6 was a green. And one last exhaust for good measure. And roll 6, we got another exhaust, but a green this time. Green being romance, and let's finish it off with one final spinner wheel. Let's see what we're gonna get. Again, please be nice to me. Reading challenge. I don't know if I have, I do. Okay. So right now I'm participating in the horror bingo, but green is a romance. So I'm also participating in the R fantasy bingo. And of course, as long as there is romance in the book, it can count for the romance category, even if it's also in the fantasy category. So let me take a look at the R fantasy bingo challenges and see if we can fit one of my fantasy books on my shelf to one of those challenges. Ooh, I could also pick something from my 26 and 26. Should I pick something in my 26 and 26? Probably, but our fantasy is funner. Does Godkiller have a romance? It doesn't mention a romance. Is Lightlark a proper noun? I don't even know what it references. Oh, it's an island, so it's a place. That is a proper noun. One of the prompts is one-word title, but hard mode is not a proper noun. I was thinking maybe Piranesi, but I'm thinking that's their name. Also a proper noun. I could go with Phantasma. Is that a proper noun? I don't know what Phantasma references. I'm pretty sure it's a place. Yep, it's a place. Shoot. I mean, I'm not sold on doing hard mode, but if I can get hard mode, I'm gonna get hard mode. What about Bloodguard? So Bloodguard is a title. Is that a proper noun? I think a title might be a proper noun. Why is everything proper nouns? I'm not going to care about hard mode. I already told myself that I was not going to go hard on hard mode. So we are going to go with an R fantasy bingo prompt for the reading challenge. And we're going to go with Lightlark. I know, I say I know like I know, but I don't. I think that this is not a completed series, which is unfortunate. But YA has been a little bit hit or miss for me lately, especially when it comes to like fantasy romance. So I'm going to try this one, see if I like it. I really hope I like it, but if I don't, then I can, cross it off the TBR. This honestly sounds so intriguing though. I really think I'm going to love it. It says, welcome to the Centennial. Every 100 years, the island of Lightlark appears for only 100 days to host a deadly game where the rulers of 6 realms fight to break their curses and win unparalleled power. Each ruler has something to hide. Each curse is uniquely wicked. To break them and save themselves and their realms, one ruler will die. To survive, each of the crown must lie, cheat, betray, even as love complicates everything. Also, someone blurbed it as if The Hunger Games was a dark fairy tale. Absolutely sign me up. And this is going to complete the challenge on the Our Fantasy Bingo board of a one-word title, because I am not going super hard on hard mode. This does not cover hard mode, but that's okay. That's okay. Okay, what a massive stack. I can't even hold it. So these are the physical TBR books that we're adding to the August TBR. It's so heavy, plus Everything the Darkness Eats, the Dungeons Anarchist Cookbook, and Lock and Key Volume 4. And then we also have to carry over the books that we did not read last month. So also on the TBR is The Caretaker by Marcus Cleaver and The Night We Met by Abby Jimenez. I am not going to count all these pages right now, but I will put the page count up right here. I imagine it's massive. I can usually do around 2,500 to 3,000 pages in a month. So I feel like we're pushing it. But I feel like I have such an amazing selection for August. I'm so excited. A bit of a chaotic round, but I love it. That's what we're here for. Thank you so much for joining me for another round of LucidiTBR. Let me know if you've read any of these books and what you thought of them. Let me know what you're most anticipating reading this month. Or if you don't have much to say and just want to let me know you were here, leave me some flowers down in the comments. While you're down there, don't forget to like the video if you liked it and subscribe if you want to see more from me in the future. I hope you are loving what you are reading lately. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you very soon for another video. Bye, friends.
Tell you something, there ain't another love that is gonna hold you down like mine.